How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Superhero Gains. So it's been a while since my last upload, but we are back with more Avengers discussions. Before we get into that though, if you're new to the channel, then consider subscribing, and after you've watched it, if you like the video, leave a like, and let me know your thoughts down below. But let's get on with this video. So Infinity War had a lot of characters. I think we knew that going into the film. We were told it was going to have something like 60, 70 odd characters. And it's very difficult to decide if that was correct, because I'm sure in reality it had a lot more than 60 characters, but that involves drawing a line between who's a main character and who's a support character. But I think we can all agree that there were more characters in this film than any other Marvel film to date, and that includes all the X-Men films as well. And not only were there more characters, but we got to see more interactions between characters who'd never even shared a scene before, let alone been in the same film. Doctor Strange, being a newcomer to the MCU, had his first interactions with Tony Stark, Bruce Banner and Peter Parker, which then led to them meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy in space, who had just come from meeting Thor. And during the film's third and final act, we got to see characters like Black Widow, Falcon, Rhodey, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Bruce Banner, and finally Thor, Rocket and Groot interact with Wakanda and all the characters there. But even after all this, I was still left wanting more. Which is definitely a good thing because it gets me a lot more excited for the sequel. But that's what we're going to discuss today. Which character team-ups we need to see in Avengers 4. Let's discuss. So we'll start this off with an obvious one that needs to see two characters kiss and make up. Tony and Steve haven't spoken face to face since they beat the hell out of each other in Civil War. And the last that Tony heard of Steve was that lovely voicemail he left for him at the end of the film. And this was actually acknowledged in Avengers Infinity War, where for a moment it seemed that Tony was about to call Steve right before the Black Order showed up. It also got me wondering if Tony carries that phone around with him all the time, and if he's actually come to terms with what happened between them. When Bruce Banner told Tony to call Steve, Tony replied with, "It's not that simple," which doesn't seem like the answer of someone who's still holding a grudge. It actually seems like the answer of someone who wants to talk to their friend, but just doesn't want to make the first move. And after you look past the pettiness of it, it's actually kind of cute. Anyway, we didn't get to see one little bit of interaction between Tony and Steve during Infinity War, because right at the start of the film, Tony went off into space, and at the end of the film was still stranded on Titan. So we need to see these characters meet up, put aside their differences, and fight the good fight. And it's also rumoured that Doctor Strange will play an important role in helping them put aside their differences, get over it, and get back on the same side. So at the end of Infinity War, after what is now being referred to as the Snappening, not to be confused with the leaked Snapchat photos back in 2014, Rocket was left stranded on Earth and is now the only member of the Guardians left alive, unless you count Nebula, but I'm pretty sure she's still in her probationary period. And over the last year, we had heard about different characters that would have interesting dynamics when they met up with each other. Thor and Groot were one of these examples, and we got to see that in Infinity War. However, another interesting team-up that was suggested was that of Rocket and Hulk. Now, a common problem that has come up over the last year or two is that due to the film's secrecy, the actors who were playing these characters, when they were filming scenes, they didn't know if they were filming a scene for Avengers Infinity War or Avengers 4. So if they said something during an interview like, "Oh, I really enjoyed the dynamic between this character and this character," they didn't know if they were giving away a spoiler for Avengers 4 or just talking about something we were going to see in Infinity War. But since Hulk didn't even make an appearance once Thanos had laid the smackdown on him in the film's opening scene, we can now be pretty sure that these interactions between Rocket and Hulk are going to take place in Avengers 4, and we're going to see some pretty cool, albeit CGI, interactions between Rocket and the Jolly Green Giant.
From the valley of the Jolly Green Giant.
And since Groot was one of the characters who disintegrated at the end of the film, Rocket's now on his own. The only person he knows is Thor, and he doesn't even really know him that well, so he's going to need to make new friends. So that'll definitely be something interesting to see. Right, so since Phase 4 of the MCU is going to need some fresh new faces after the contracts of actors like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans expire, Marvel will probably look to the new, younger characters introduced in recent years to carry the torch forward, as well as characters like Doctor Strange and Black Panther. Other great characters to do this would be Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Letitia Wright's Shuri. Both of them are capable characters, with Spider-Man building his own web shooters and being more than able to handle himself in a fight, and Shuri supposedly being the smartest character in the MCU. All of this would make for some pretty interesting on-screen interactions that I'm really looking forward to see. All someone needs to do now is undissolve Peter. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. If Avengers 4 is to be the last film featuring Tony Stark, then Marvel needs to tie up all loose ends. And we can't really have Steve Rogers and Tony Stark make up without addressing Tony's feelings towards Bucky, you know, for being the one who killed his parents. But thanks to Shuri, the Winter Soldier part of Bucky that was a Hydra agent has now been removed. So now Tony may finally be able to move on from what happened. And a part of him has to realise that it wasn't Bucky's fault. Tony has seen firsthand what can happen to good people when they're put under mind control. That being said, seeing Tony and Bucky confront each other after everything that's happened will be really interesting to see, and could also help unite all of the MCU's heroes. And finally, on the subject of tying up loose ends, no dynamic between two characters has gone on unresolved longer than that of Captain America and the Red Skull. Since it's now been confirmed that the orange world Thanos finds himself in briefly at the end of Infinity War is actually the Soul World, or the Soul Realm, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty clear that we're going to learn more about the Soul Stone in Avengers 4. And who better to inform the Avengers about the Soul Stone's powers than the Red Skull, who after disappearing during Captain America the First Avenger has now become the Stonekeeper, cursed with leading others to a treasure he cannot possess. If the Avengers do make their way to Vormir, it would be amazing to see Captain America's reaction to seeing the Red Skull still alive, and even better if they had to work together in order to stop Thanos. And those are my top 5 character interactions / team-ups that I think need to happen during Avengers 4. I'm sure there's others that I've probably missed. In fact, if you've got better ideas of who you'd want to see interact with each other, or even if it's some other plot points that need to be tied up in this film that I've forgotten about, let me know down in the comments. I'm always looking forward to seeing your opinions on this. And as always, if you are new to the channel, then consider subscribing. You can check out some of my other videos on Avengers and Avengers Infinity War. Again, let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you liked the video, and I will see you in the next one.